Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of the Royal Trap by Hanako Games. My name is Anna Mardal, and we're about to do Chapter 5 of the Calum playthrough for this game. In our last video, which I literally just finished, we're just going to dive right in. In our last video, we went through the prologue in through Chapter 4 with Calum, and we got to talk to him by the stream when we were camping out and learn a little bit more about him. And otherwise things kind of went basically the same as they always do, but we were a little bit nicer to him and a little bit less nice to Oscar than we have been, just to kind of see new material. So we're in the dungeon figuring out who would possibly come to my aid. So we're gonna pick Calum, and again, this is all new material. I haven't been through this playthrough at all because I didn't want the skip button to work over stuff that y'all hadn't seen, so I can't see it either. So you're getting like unfiltered reactions, which are not my best reactions, but onward into the breach. Calum. He might assist me if anything he has said to this point has been true. That I don't know. I want to find out what is going on, but for now, all I can do is wait. Which I'm going to register kind of a little frustration is that, and it's a visual novel game. Things are supposed to happen based on your choices. So, you know, I get why things are the way they are. I'm a storyteller too, and when you want players to have agency over their story, sometimes that means that characters act certain ways in response to those choices that maybe they wouldn't in real life, but just because you wanted to give the player agency. So I get it, but at the same time it is marginally frustrating to me that if you don't make all the right choices, Oscar doesn't show up to help you. He basically sort of, the way I heard, I don't like this word, but it's kind of appropriate here, the way I saw someone else describe Oscar is that he just kind of friend zones himself, like, oh, well, if I'm just in the friend zone, then screw Maddie, I'm not going to help her. And so, okay, yeah, that's frustrating, but also kind of Calum. Like, Cassidy doesn't know that you're in the dungeon. Cassidy's been lied to. She thinks Dolores is in the dungeon. But Calum knows it's not Dolores in the dungeon because Dolores is assigned to him as a valet. So, you know, his actions landed you here, and he's not doing anything to help you unless you romance him. And to me, that's kind of frustrating for both Oscar and Calum. I feel like it sort of means that their character isn't what I would like it to be, but also, like I said, at the same time, I recognize that it's a game and the character or the player's choices are supposed to have meaning. But if they just showed up to rescue you regardless of what you did, it wouldn't be a visual novel game, it would be a book. But that's just, it's a thing that kind of bugs me. But anyway, at least with Calum, he has the excuse that he's probably kind of still terrified of his parents. Sorry, did not mean to go off on a huge side tangent there. Chapter 5A, The Panther. The Panther in ballet shoes. I sit on my prison bed, absently toying with a bit of loose string. Okay, now this part we have seen before. I'm not going to read the waiting in jail. Oh, I know we've seen it. Oh, well. The skip just isn't, it's not working. Okay. Oh, well, okay, this one's new. Alright, I'll back up. Alright. I'm not being mistreated. They've even remembered to feed me. Not pastries and tiger nut milk, of course, but not pig slops either. The amenities don't go so far as to include a bath, but one can't have everything. Isolation is meant to be its own form of torment. In time, it will be, I know that. For the moment, though, the solitude is peaceful. I've been kept on edge for too long, worrying about my future, worrying about Oscar, watching those around me for signs of violence and betrayal. Now it's all out of my hands. There is a kind of freedom in that. Memories, dreams, and fantasies swirl unfettered in my mind, replaying past events and imagining how they might have turned out differently. If I had rushed directly to Calum's room when Cassidy vanished, before Dolores had a chance to steal her away, or if I had delayed Prince Calum in the passage at the ball and he had never taken her at all. But no, I couldn't have stopped Calum from abducting his sister. He'd been planning it for years. He would never have let me stand in his way. As for rescuing Cassidy from Calum's rooms, would that have made any difference? Calum would still have needed to learn that he was wrong about his sister, and his parents would still have needed to cover up his crime. The roots of this situation run too deep for any action of mine to have swayed their course. There is a sickness in the court of Welinor, one which did not end with the death of Prince Caspian. Hey, we get a flashback. Which we get the flashback because we told Oscar earlier that we had to rush out. There is the possibility that someone has discovered the truth about Caspian and Cassidy. No! What will happen to her? What will happen to us? Wise Paloma was afraid of something, some secret being learned that could spell disaster for the royal family. But what? Lost in my thoughts, I haven't yet had time to grow lonely, and thus turn only half an ear to the sound of footsteps passing at my cell door. I certainly never expected that door to be opened. Surprised, I spring to my feet as someone enters. You. What? He crosses to my side and takes hold of my shoulders. Why did you do it? Do what? He can't be talking about my kidnapping Cassidy, can he? He knows it's a lie. Or is this a show for some onlooker? Why did you go along with this charade? I thought you understood. I thought you were stronger. No. Whatever this is, I don't think it's for show. He is truly angry. At his parents or at me? I didn't have a lot of choices. I was alone. I was disarmed. I was arrested. His fingers tighten on my arms. You lied for them. I did what I had to do to protect my prince. I didn't have any good options. And now you let them make you a pariah for nothing. He gives my shoulders a final shake, then steps away, throwing up his hands. It's only then that I notice the other person who has entered my cell. What is she doing here? That's the gilding on the gingerbread. Meet my new valet. What? That's ridiculous. Believe me, it weren't my idea. She works for you? Of course not, but I'm saddled with her anyway. Whether it be to spy on my actions, or simply to annoy me into an early grave, I have no idea. I shake my head. I don't understand anything that's happening here. Can you please explain this to me? What happened after you returned to the castle? You first. Fine. I was in a room with that creature, indicating Dolores, and I tried to ask her why she'd done it, but she wouldn't tell me. Next thing I know, the guards come in and say I'm the criminal, and they haul me off. No explanation. And not a word out of her. Like you would have spoken up if you'd slipped the news. The answer is obvious. There's no point in my stating it. Some time later, Oscar came to me here and told me that he'd been made to strike a bargain with Friedrich and Paloma. For my confession, I leave with my life and my prince's reputation unsullied. You sell yourself too cheaply. Oscar is my responsibility. You would do anything in the world to protect your sister, wouldn't you? He doesn't answer. What did they do to you to make you take up with her after what she did? What did they tell you? Nothing. The same as ever. All I have been told is that this woman is owed a debt of some nature. As a matter of honor, her crime must be forgiven. Therefore, the blame must fall on someone else, and you gave yourself into their hands. All of this is happening because of Dolores. She has to be more than a simple peasant girl. So what is this debt? Why are they protecting you? I don't know. I don't know anything. But don't expect me to be sorry. So which of us is the greater fool, as my parents have surely made all of us into clowns? You do that to yourself. Be silent. I should have killed you when I had the chance. Callum, making it hard for me to like you. Sorry. So why didn't you? He looks away, and it falls to me to answer her question. I'm looking at the wiki right now. The options here are because you weren't a threat, because Oscar and I stopped him. I don't see that making a difference in Calum's ending. And I don't see it making a difference in Dolores' ending. So let's say because you weren't a threat, and then in Dolores' ending we'll say because I stopped him? It wasn't necessary. If Calum had wanted Dolores dead, he could have crushed her throat before Oscar or I had a chance to intervene. He didn't kill her because he chose not to. You were disabled, and your goal wasn't to hurt Cassidy. You just wanted the money. You weren't a threat anymore. Irritation is not reason enough to kill someone. I agree. Though it can be tempting. We didn't know then how much trouble you really were. Actually, we still don't. Everything about Dolores remains an open question, an unanswered mystery. Why did you bring her here? Say the word and I'll go. I don't trust her out of my sight. So the self-inflicted misery of her presence is better than wondering what she's doing behind his back. But how can we discuss anything meaningful with her standing there listening? I'm not sure what you're doing here at all. I am supposed to be a prisoner. My esteemed parents do not wish to give the impression that I am in full rebellion. Without specific orders otherwise, the guards are unlikely to deny me access. Yes, but why are you here? What do we do now? What's your plan? All at once, he appears uncertain. I don't have one. Turning away from me, he slams his palm against the stone wall, then sighs and lets his head sag down. Over the strong line of his shoulders, I can see his head shaking, his hair blocking his eyes from mine. It's all falling apart. I have succeeded in every goal I set myself, and yet this success turns to dust in my mouth. Is there nothing in the world that they can't destroy? I don't understand. My sister. I fought for her all these years, and she swore to me that everything would change. You heard her. Nothing will stand between us again. I am an adult, and I will defy our parents. And the moment we returned, she went back to them. The king in his wisdom, the central cogs in this machine that crushes everything in my life. Even you they have tainted. No. I lay my hand against the muscle of his arm. He stiffens, his head rising back to attention. I haven't been turned. After everything you've told me, I know better than to trust Friedrich and Paloma. I agreed to this deal as a stopgap to protect Oscar because I had no other option at the time. I had no choice because I couldn't reach you. I haven't given up. I want to know what's really happening here, but I'm powerless on my own. He turns and catches my hand in his thumb rubbing over the calluses of my palm. If you believe yourself helpless, then they have corrupted you. I tighten my grip and tug him a little bit closer. Is Dolores still in the room watching this? As long as I'm alive, I'm never completely helpless. But you could walk through this door at your own command. I can't. I've been stuck here waiting for you and Cassidy to tell me what's happening. Why are you smiling at me like that? You. His other hand comes to rest on my elbow, just above my waist. I shouldn't have been angry with you. I've simply become accustomed to my family ruining anything that I might... Oh, well, the soggy clouds in the sky. If you're going to Tupper, get it over with already. Any more of this honey, and I think I'm going to vomit. I love Dolores so much. Reminded of his audience, Calum nearly shoves me away in his haste to break contact. Dolores only smirks. Are you trying to make people want to swat you? For all my annoyance, perhaps it was the best. I'm not sure what I was thinking, what Calum was thinking. If Dolores hadn't interrupted. I don't want to be here any more than you do. Right, so what are we doing about that? I don't believe I'm allowed to simply walk out of here with you. No. What's Cassidy's opinion of all this? Does she have any idea what your parents' true plans are? I haven't spoken with her. Are the guards under orders to bar you from reaching her again? I don't know. I haven't tried. You haven't tried? Got mud in your ears? Why should I? I fought my way to her before. Now she was supposed to fight for me. She promised me. You came in here to yell at me for giving in and letting things happen the way your parents wanted, while I was being threatened and forced to make the best choices I could under pressure. But you took what they gave you and you haven't even tried to resist because you're sulking about Cassidy? Yes, thank you! There is no point in straining myself to reach someone who does not require my aid. How do you know she doesn't want your help? She's done nothing. She's been locked up her whole life. She's probably scared. How would she know what to do? She said that she would resist them. I am giving her the chance to prove her own strength. You're sulking. And beyond her, what about me? Are you going to leave me locked up here when you know it's for nothing but a lie? Cassidy's in her tower. I'm in a dungeon. You're chained to a traitor, and there are assassins on the loose. Are you really going to let them win? Valois, you are stubborn, overreaching, obnoxious, and right? Yes. I will attempt to make contact with my sister. I don't know how difficult it will be, or what we can arrange after that. If nothing else, I will send you a message. Can we go now? Or are you two going to stand here making eyes at each other all day? Calum closes his eyes and takes a slow breath, his fingers flexing. Yes, we will be leaving now. He stares at the top of Dolores' head as if he wishes it would burst into flame. Together, they walk to the cell door. Oh, bury that. Bury that? Before I can blink, he returns to me. His lips press hungrily against mine, and there's freeze or kiss him back. Well, I guess we'll kiss him back. Melt into the sensation. Oh, for star's sake! No one is paying attention to her. The kiss must have lasted only for a few moments, but my sense of time and everything else was spinning. I will come back for you. Right. Oh, so that's kind of sweet. Like I said, I have a lot of mixed feelings on Calum, but I think that's sweet. This time, the leaving is final. Calum signals to the guards, and he and Dolores are released from my cell. Once they are gone, the door is slammed and locked back into place, leaving me alone, for now. He kissed me. I've never been kissed like that before, not by anyone. I never expected. It's not right, is it? Calum is a prince. I am little more than a servant, less now that I am a prisoner, and my loyalty should be to Oscar. I'm becoming far too caught up in events that should not concern me. My responsibility is to protect Oscar, not to meddle in Guelenor's politics. And yet, my other purpose was to see Oscar married safely and well. No one expected me to achieve a union with Guelenor, but if I did, everything would be forgiven. Even if Cassidy did not pardon and reward me herself, and I'm sure she would, Osendower would grant me the benefit of my actions, and my prince would prosper. Seen in that light, it is surely my duty to pursue contact with Cassidy and Calum. Contact indeed. There is no obligation for a prince to live like a monk. Some potential brides may frown on premarital escapades. Others prefer a mate with experience. It is the woman's choice what she wants, and the man's choice what he wants to be. There would be no outrage on the part of his family if I were to spend time with Calum, only if I were to attempt to marry him. And considering the value they seem to place on him as a marriage token, perhaps not even that. They have had their share of well-wed sons. What am I thinking? This is ridiculous. One moment's excitement is not a promise of anything, not on either of our parts. I'm not even sure how I feel about him, much less what he feels about me. Far more important, for political purposes, is the question of how Cassidy feels about Oscar. There most certainly would be an uproar if she exercised her prerogative to choose a husband so quickly, but she is the heir. If she makes that decision and stands by it, that would be that. But would she dare? Can I convince her that my sweet Oscar is the man whom she should raise to the throne? None of this makes any difference until I can actually speak with Cassidy again, or at least send messages reliably. For now I must be content to wait. At least I know that all hope is not lost. Thus, for the moment, I remain at loose ends, floating between moments without so much as a deck of cards with which to amuse myself. And here we get the window part, which we have seen, but it's acting like we haven't. So, I'm going to skip through it a little bit anyway. It is the sunlight, again, that rouses me in the morning. For those first moments, I don't quite remember where I am. Then, of course, it all washes over me. Oscar, Cassidy, Calum. Calum promised that he would come back for me. I have no idea how long it will take for him to reach his sister or come up with a new plan. There's nothing I can do but wait. I may as well go back to sleep. Inactivity is a luxury that quickly becomes a burden. I thought it would be easy for me with my childhood background to draw on. Perhaps I've changed more than I thought I had. Footsteps. You, on your feet. What's going on? You're being relocated. What? Where? Relocated, he said, not released. Keep your mouth shut and come along. Don't give us any trouble. Us. Too many guards for me to have much a chance of escape. I'll have to go along with them. My training has taught me that in a captive situation, biding your time and waiting for a better opportunity can be a mistake. You are already in a weaker position. Any time that you spend to strengthen yourself, your enemies can spend as well and more effectively. Surprise may be the only advantage available. But safety is not my only concern. There is Oscar and Calum. If I trust him, if I believe in him, then I have to believe that he is planning something. And so, I walk quietly through the palace halls, escorted by the guards. The back halls, that is. As much as possible, they are trying to keep me out of sight. At last, they bring me through into an unoccupied guest room. You'll be staying here for now. I see. Look, I don't want any part of this, you hear? Any part of what? I never did you no harm, right? Right? Then we'll leave it there. Is he warning me that something is about to happen that he doesn't want to be responsible for? If you have any requests, let us know. I hope he doesn't mean any last requests. But nothing funny, all right? I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know who you really are. With all the guests, I'm not taking chances. So you stay quiet and we'll get along fine, right? He seems to be waiting for some acknowledgement, as if I were once more of far higher status than he. Perhaps I am. Better to keep him thinking along those lines at least. I draw myself up and nod sharply, causing him to straighten and return. Your meal will be brought up shortly. And he leaves. I am alone, in a comfortable room, and safe, at least for now. Cautiously, I test the doorknob. Locked. I am still a prisoner. But now I am a prisoner with access to luxury. Carpet, soft cushions, water. It might not last, so better not to waste it. I hurry to make use of the bath. After I have cleaned myself up a bit and returned to the front room of my new prison, I find a meal waiting for me. Fresh bread, fish, stew that might have been warm if I had been present for its delivery. There are even a few bites of baked spiced apple. Certainly no hardship here. No hardship, that is, except for the uncertainty. I have no more information about current events than I did before, and little more to occupy myself with. These rooms may be intended to hold me, but they are far less secure than the dungeons below. I could easily bypass the locked door, if not for the guard behind it. More promisingly, there are no bars on the windows here. I would not like to risk the walls in broad daylight with no equipment, but should I need to make a rapid exit, the option is available. Calum promised he would return, or at least send a message. I can wait until nightfall. If there have been no developments by then, I could look for more information on my own. I eat, and I sit, and I think, and time passes. It is some hours later, but still long before dark, when I hear a disturbance outside my door. Business. Prisoner. Watch her. Don't let her. That sounds like it could be trouble. Flee now, or submit, or prepare to fight. My daggers are gone, but there are always weapons to be found for the resourceful. No time. I step to the side as the door opens, positioning myself where I won't be expected. Calum! Madeline Valois. He closes the door behind him. I trust your new environment is more comfortable. Yes, but what's going on? Why am I here? As you suggested, I pushed my way through to Cassidy's chambers. It would not have been possible if she had not heard the noise outside and opened her own door. She is still under guard. She was distressed to discover that once again our parents had discarded truth and arranged matters as they saw fit. Cassidy insisted on an audience with them at once, and this was the result, a partial reprieve. They will not alter their public sentencing, but in private they agree there is no reason to punish you. Oh, wow. I didn't think it was possible for me to hate Friedrich and Paloma more. And I mentioned, I find them sympathetic while sort of also hating them at the same time. And I don't know why that's such a blow to the gut, but just, oh, fine. If you kids found out and you're gonna be whiny about the horrible miscarriage of justice in our kingdom, I guess she can at least have a bath. Like, that bothers me a lot. I guess just goes to show that they really didn't think you were guilty of anything and just didn't care. So that's nice. I am still officially a traitor then. That's no reprieve at all. Why are they doing this? I was not there. You would do better to ask those questions of my sister. Is she coming here? I was hoping that you could come to us to avoid the notice of the guards. You have certain talents, as I recall. Would you be able to reach my quarters from here by way of the windows? It would be easier if I had my special gloves, but if you can direct me, I believe I can reach you. But if the guards come in while I'm away, that could be hard to explain. Wait until after the evening meal if you're concerned. They should have no further reason to disturb you. After Cassidy's orders, I doubt there will be trouble, but we all have much to discuss. My sister will be there, as well as Miss Arafe. Yes, where is your new shadow? Outside with the guards. I told them to hold her there. I'm not leaving her loose. I still don't know what she'd do. And yet he is letting her out of his sight to visit me. What do the guards think you're doing in here? What? You've requested privacy, to be alone with a prisoner. Do they believe that you are here to interrogate me? A gentle wash of color sparks across his face. Well, I'm not sure that now is the best time. That's not what I meant. I was asking if you were supposed to be torturing me, if you wanted me to scream for you. Oh my god, Maddie, you were so adorable. I love... So while we're plotting to occasionally like shriek because I can. That's just it's practical and cute and adorable all at the same time, and I love it. Um, the amused look in his eyes grows stronger. Oh, just forget I said anything. I would prefer to remember. This lies between us, doesn't it, you and I? There are many things between us, my lord. I'm no one's lord. I have no desire to become one. I should be clear with you. I am not entirely without experience in these matters. There are women who do not care where they find their pleasures, and I have not been one to care either. My life was my quest and my revenge. I have been focused on that goal, on my lost brother, that I saw nothing else. And all of that was a chase for a phantom star. If I had trusted anyone, if I had listened, I might have changed course long ago. You had your reasons. Your parents didn't deserve your trust. No, they did not. But that is not the issue at the moment. They are not the ones I wish now to believe in. There has never been, in my life, a woman who fascinates me the way that you do. He lifts one hand to brush aside the hair that dangles beside my face. Only the barest tip of his finger grazes my cheek, but the entire of my body resonates with his nearness. Beautiful, clever, and fierce, you have been everything I could ask for, and more. Suddenly, his expression turns dark. Of course, you have a prior obligation. Really? We're gonna talk about Oscar right now? Your prince. You care for him, don't you? You said it yourself. You would do anything to protect him. Oscar? Of course I care about him. He's like family to me, more than my own ever was. There's nothing romantic between us. It's the truth, despite Oscar wishing for it to be otherwise. He is not my lover, and never will be. My obligations are to myself. I see. Then, what I wish to say... He turns away. This is not the time. The guards await. I should go. And the options are, yes, you should, and we're not finished here. And I have absolutely no idea what the difference. Like I said, I haven't done this playthrough before. I'm just following. I'm following the wiki, and the wiki has nothing to say about chapter 5 choices. It's just chapter 6 choices. So we get to pick. And I'm a little paralyzed with indecision because both of these could be kind of bad. We'll just go practical, I guess. I think that's the best. I will come to you later tonight after the evening meal, when Cassidy will be there. And we will not be alone, and my thoughts will be more clear. Until then. I guess we could go back. What are the options? Oh, here we go. Don't go. We're not finished here. If there's something you want to say, then say it. That would not be wise. Why not? Do you know how difficult it is to stand in this room with you, alone, and not touch you? Touch me, I won't break. I might. Aw, but he stays. Step by deliberate step, I approach. I lay my hand upon his chest. Please. Oh, okay, so it did make a difference which one we chose. A pained noise at the back of his throat, and his mouth opens, and then he is kissing me. This isn't like before. This is faster, rougher. His tongue drives into my mouth, rasping over my teeth. Oh my! His powerful hands close on my arms, pulling me... What is going on with the text? His powerful hands close onto my arms, pulling me into him. I can feel the muscles of his chest, hard and tight against me. A few stumbling steps, and there's a wall behind my back. My heart is beating so hard that I can feel it in my fingertips. I cling to Calum's shoulders, my lips capturing his, as his thigh presses insistently between my legs. And then, with a growl, he wrenches himself away. This is not the time. I'm too busy trying to catch my breath to answer with more than a look. Madeline, please, I want. His color remains high. I know what he wants. I want more than just one afternoon. There's so much left to do. You need to talk to Cassidy. You need to climb. That fact lands between us with a cold spray. I will not risk you for a single moment. It's really my choice to make, but you're right. Not that I was intending to. I don't know what I was intending to. My knees are shaking. I need to get myself under control. If I tried to scale a wall like this, I would be in trouble. After the evening meal then. To talk, I mean. Until then. After he exits, I lean against the door with a sigh. My face is still tingling where the rough texture of his chin scraped against it. What am I doing? The things that Calum said, the things he's done before with other women. Does he think that I have? Do I want him to think that? He respects me as a thinker and a fighter, a person like himself. And what woman doesn't want to seem wise and all-knowing? I close my eyes and take a deep breath. I have to put this aside for now. I will be calm. I am calm. Whatever is building between us will have to wait for another time. I can only hope that by then I will have made a firm decision. My priority now is to prepare myself. I must wait and be ready so that after the guards deliver my food, I can make my exit. So, okay, that was the end of chapter 5. So, I'm going to save there and stop, and we'll come back in another Let's Play. So, gosh, that was chapter 5 with Calum. There was a lot of kissing. And I'm warming to him. I do think that a lot of the parts of his character that I have problems with are symptoms of the abuse that he's lived through. And it seems like he's open to getting better. But so anyway, that was chapter 5 for Calum of the Royal Trap by Hanako Games, and I will see you in the next Let's Play. Thank you so much for watching.